Have you ever felt drained after revisiting a place that once brought you joy and peace? Some places used to light us up, they made us feel alive, inspired, connected. But over time, something changes. And instead of lifting us up, they start to take more than they give. The hardest part? Most people don't realize it until it's already worn them down physically, mentally, even emotionally. Until their health, their peace of mind, or their self-worth has quietly started to erode. Now, this isn't fear talking. It's a gentle reminder to stay aware and to set healthy boundaries. Because between the ages of 65 and 80, your body, your heart, and your mind need a different kind of rest, a different kind of connection, a deeper sense of safety than when you were younger. But here's the problem. Many people keep going back to places that no longer serve them out of habit, out of guilt, or out of hope that maybe things will feel the same again. Sometimes, though, those places are quietly draining your energy and stealing your spirit. So today, we're going to talk about 6 places older adults should stop visiting, not because you've grown weaker, but because you've grown wiser. Each one is grounded in real-life experience. And the sooner you recognize them, the easier it'll be to avoid exhaustion, emotional pain, and regrets down the road. But before we dive in, have you ever made the choice to stop going somewhere, even when others thought you should keep going? What made you walk away? Let's talk about it in the comments. 1. The hospital when you don't really need to be there. Sounds strange, right? But it's true. One of the places older adults should avoid unless absolutely necessary is the hospital. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not about ignoring real symptoms. If you're experiencing chest pain, dizziness, or blurred vision, get checked out immediately. But if you're heading to the hospital just because you're feeling a little off, you're bored, or you're lonely, take a moment and think twice. I knew a man named Uncle Hung. He was 78. After his wife passed, he lived alone with very few friends. Every time he felt a little tired or had a minor backache, he went straight to the hospital. At first, the doctors were kind and thorough. But over time, they got more dismissive and the medications got stronger. One day, he was hospitalized not because of illness, but because of side effects from all the overlapping prescriptions. Hospitals are full of white lights, urgent alarms, and anxious faces. And if you go too often, your body starts associating itself with illness even when you're perfectly okay. You begin to feel fragile even if you're not. This isn't just about physical health. It's psychological. As we age, we become more sensitive to changes in our bodies. A little bloating can feel like a heart attack. And suddenly, the hospital becomes a place of emotional comfort more than medical care. But that comfort can come at a high cost: anxiety, dependency, and unnecessary medical risks. So what's the better path? Instead of rushing to the ER every time you feel uneasy, build a proactive health system. Regular checkups with your primary doctor, monitoring your blood pressure at home, keeping a daily health journal. And when you need reassurance, call a friend, talk to your kids, or check in with a pharmacist you trust. You are not your age, and you are definitely not your fears. 2. Crowded supermarkets on the weekend. Sound familiar? Saturdays and Sundays, everyone's out shopping. But for anyone over 65, those busy weekend afternoons can quietly turn into a trap. Your balance isn't what it used to be. Your eyes take a little longer to adjust to bright lights and fast motion. Your knees, your back, your shoulders, they don't bend and move like they once did. And yet, here you are, dodging packed shopping carts, sidestepping kids darting around the aisles, bending down to grab items off the bottom shelf, stretching up to reach the top while harsh white lights glare in your face, and the loudspeaker never stops buzzing in the background. I remember Miss Lon. She was 74 and loved her weekly grocery runs. But after nearly falling twice, once after getting bumped by a cart from behind, and another from slipping on a wet floor, she decided to stop. Because at her age, one little fall could mean weeks in bed. And when you lose mobility, you lose so much more than just movement. And that's not all. There's the added risk of viruses, the flu, and everything in between. One person coughing behind you in line, and you could end up stuck in bed for days. The supermarket used to be a place that gave you purpose. You picked your food, paid for it, brought it home, felt in control. But now, you squint to read tiny labels. No one steps aside anymore. And when the store layout changes again, you start to feel lost, like maybe this place isn't for you anymore. But there's a better way. Many older adults now shop early in the weekday mornings when the aisles are calm, the lighting's softer, and employees have the time to help. Others choose home delivery not because they can't shop, but because they've earned the right to do things comfortably. Your energy at this stage in life is precious. Don't waste it on chaos. Save it for warm conversations, your favorite hobbies, or a peaceful afternoon stroll with someone you love. And hey, if you're still watching and this message resonates with you, drop a number 2 in the comments. That way I know you're still here, still with me. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Your support helps me keep creating real, meaningful content to share with this community. 3. Parks or trails with too many steps or steep slopes. Some places look peaceful on the surface, your favorite park, a lakeside trail, or that familiar hill you've walked for decades. But as we get older, those very spots can quietly become more dangerous than we realize. Our bodies change, knees weaken, reflexes slow down, breathing gets shorter, but the mind, it still thinks, I've got this. I'm the same as always. And that mindset, that same as always, can be a silent trap. I remember Mr. Tuan, 78 years old. Every Sunday morning, he would walk his favorite hill trail, the one he knew by heart. One day, he tripped on a worn stone step, fell hard, fractured a rib, spent weeks in the hospital. Now he can only walk with a cane. The heartbreaking part? He knew that path like the back of his hand. But it only takes 1 second of overconfidence to change the rest of your life. Older parks aren't always senior-friendly. Tree roots push through the pavement. Cracked walkways, steep inclines without handrails, any one of them could cause a bad fall. And if you're out there alone with no one nearby, the risk skyrockets. Here's something people rarely talk about: getting lost. At this age, our mental clarity isn't what it used to be. Everything looks familiar until it doesn't. One wrong turn and suddenly you're disoriented. A 10-minute stroll becomes a 40-minute loop filled with exhaustion, anxiety, and shaken confidence. So should we avoid nature? No way. Nature is still one of the best medicines for the body and mind. But instead of climbing hills or navigating tricky slopes, choose paths that match who you are today, not who you were 10 years ago. Look for parks with flat trails, benches to rest, handrails, or even a community garden nearby. Adjusting doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're being wise. It takes real strength to say, this place was right for me then, but now, I choose something that fits who I am today. 4. Big, loud family gatherings. It might sound a little sad, but the truth is, one of the most exhausting places for older adults isn't the hospital or the supermarket. It's often their own living room. Holidays, birthdays, parties, people laughing, kids running around, the TV blasting, adults talking over one another, kitchen noise, bursts of laughter. And you're sitting there, smiling along, trying to catch what someone just said, struggling to follow a half-told story. But deep down, you're drained. A lot of older folks keep showing up to these gatherings not because they enjoy them, but because they're afraid to disappoint others. Afraid their kids will think they're being distant. Afraid of being labeled difficult or antisocial. And after the party, you go home exhausted. Your back aches from sitting too long. Your head throbs from all the noise. Your sleep is off from all the stimulation. But the worst part? That lingering feeling that somehow you were invisible in your own family. Everyone's chatting about tech, work, social media. You don't even know where to jump in. It's like being a stranger in a house that used to feel like yours. That feeling stays with you, not because you're unloved, but because you're no longer the center of things. And that quiet shift makes many older adults feel lonely, even when they're surrounded by loved ones. But here's the truth: you have a choice. If big family parties drain more than they energize, step back. You don't have to attend every gathering. Instead, choose smaller, more meaningful moments. Lunch with your daughter, coffee with your grandson, a quiet video call with a cousin across the country. Fewer people doesn't mean less love. It means you're loving yourself the right way. And if your family truly cares, they'll understand. And if they don't yet, this is their moment to learn. If you're still here watching and any of this speaks to you, Drop a number 4 in the comments so I know we're walking this path together. And don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I've got more heartfelt, thoughtful content coming your way, and I'd love to share it with you. 5. Supermarkets at night. It might seem harmless late evening, empty streets, a quiet supermarket. No crowds, no lines. Just you, the aisles, and a little peace and quiet. For many, it even feels like me time. But for folks between 65 and 80, that late-night grocery run comes with hidden risks most people never think about. Let's start with the lighting. As we age, our eyes struggle more with low light or sudden changes in brightness. Driving at night, navigating dim parking lots, or walking through shadowy corners of the store, all of that increases your chances of tripping or falling. And one slip on the wrong tile, that can mean weeks in the hospital with a fractured bone, and a long road to recovery you didn't see coming. Second, there's fatigue. By nighttime, your body's already done a full day of work. Your brain's tired, reflexes slow down, and your focus starts to fade. You might forget what you came for, pick up the wrong items, or fall into the trap of impulse buying. I've heard people say they spend more at night on snacks, ready-made meals, expensive drinks only to get home and realize they already had them in the fridge. Third, let's talk about safety. You might feel safe, but off hours come with real risks. Theft, scams, or even being followed in a quiet parking lot aren't as rare as you'd hope. Seniors are often targeted because they're seen as vulnerable and usually alone. So what's the better move? Try going in the morning when you're more alert, the sun is up, and the store is fully staffed. You'll get better service, make smarter shopping decisions, and walk out feeling refreshed, not stressed. I remember a woman named Ms. Mai. She's 72. Every Wednesday night, she used to shop at the store near her house. She liked the quiet, but one rainy evening, she slipped in the damp parking lot. She was lucky it was just a sprain, but the doctor told her, if you had fallen just a little harder, you might have ended up in a wheelchair for good. After that, she switched to morning shopping. She told me, it's not just safer, it makes the day feel alive. I'm choosing how I spend my time, instead of letting time push me around. 6. The doctor's office, when you don't really need a visit. Sounds contradictory, doesn't it? The clinic is supposed to be a place for health. And it is. But if you find yourself booking appointments every few weeks without any clear symptoms, it might be time to step back and take a closer look. Many older adults get caught in a cycle. Slight chest tightness? Call the doctor. Morning leg fatigue? Schedule a checkup. A few nights of bad sleep? Better get it checked. Before long, your week is filled with appointments and your mind is always stuck on the question, is something wrong with me? The truth? Most of those visits aren't about illness. They're about fear. Fear of missing something. Fear of discovering something too late. Fear of losing control over your own body. But here's the downside. The more often you visit, the more likely you are to get diagnosed with issues that might not even matter. A minor lab result out of range? Boom, more tests. A vague symptom? Here comes another prescription. And slowly, you start living like a sick person even though your body might still be completely fine. I once met Mr. High, 81 years old, full of charm, but always convinced he was about to get really sick. He had doctor appointments as often as most people go grocery shopping. One day, his daughter sat him down and reviewed a stack of test results from the past year. Every single one came back normal. What he needed wasn't more prescriptions. He needed something deeper, trust. In his body, in life, and in himself. So if this cycle sounds familiar to you, try something different. Start a health journal. Track your meals, your sleep, your energy levels. And instead of running to the doctor every time you feel uneasy, schedule checkups every 6 months. Like clockwork. That way, you stay proactive without spiraling into fear. Need someone to talk to? Call a friend. Join a club. See a therapist who works with seniors. Connection doesn't always come in the form of a pill. After retirement, life becomes a delicate chess game between giving and holding back, between love and boundaries. There are places and habits that once brought you joy. But over time, as your body and soul evolve, it's okay to pause and ask, is this still right for me? Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's wise. It's how you tell your children, I love you, but I also need to take care of myself. Now let me ask you, of the 6 places we've talked about today, which one made you think of yourself the most? Which one made you say, I felt tired there too, but never gave myself permission to step away? If you've got one in mind, leave a comment below. Share something you learned today and how you plan to use it. I read every comment, and they're what keep me going, making more videos like this. If you found this video helpful, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. They might need this reminder just as much as you did. I'll see you in the next video.